Asa as well. Love to wish Lydia Adupo, team lead of Canny's Eateries, producers of Canny. Here's one message that's coming in from a friend of mine. He says, Bernard, please remind the road authorities to continue works on the Pokwasi Road. I went for a funeral at Amasaman only to burst my shocks.
Wow.
Now I have to cough out money to replace it. It's so painful.
Wow.
So I wanted to just find out whether there's been an order for the Insawam Road works to cease, because I get people complaining that the project has slowed down.
Yeah.
The project has slowed down. So we don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I was doing some checks on the particular project to find out what has happened, because as you know, Bernard, Maripoma is the contractor working on that project. It's the same contractor on the motorway project as well. Now, the project approximately was going to cost $350 million US, but with the delays and all, we are learning that the cost will likely increase as a result of the delay. You know, there'll be operational costs, things, variations. The project was pegged around 10 to the
currency exchange rate around 10.
Exactly.
CD.
Now it's around 15. So if you've not completed it,
But why should a project for a road in Ghana
Yes.
be pegged in dollars? You know, like I don't think they're importing everything for the road.
Yeah.
If you look at the components of a road,
Yeah.
the aggregate is from Ghana.
True.
Maybe the fuel that they buy,
Perhaps and the machinery too.
but still, you know, I feel like there's.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
it's a
you
good
know.
thing to ponder over. You know, the
So
project-
maybe what we should find out is what percentage of the cost build-up of a road is dependent on the dollar. Because I think some could, as you said, the equipment, but a lot of these companies have the equipment already.
Yeah.
So fuel, fine. Diesel, even though diesel is pegged to $1, it's still bought in cities.
True.
You know, I actually don't even think we should be importing. I mean, I believe the previous government came up with a system where bitumen is produced in Ghana by local companies.
Okay, I'm told that there's international bidding on the project, so it's done in dollars. I don't know if that answers
Still doesn't
it
make sense to me.
sufficiently.
If you are
Yeah.
bidding for a project in China, you bid for it in the Chinese currency. So if you are bidding for a project in Ghana, even if you're an international company, the bid should be in cedis.
Yeah.
So unless somebody comes to explain to me how the currency depreciation affects the building of a road, and Maripoma is a local contractor.
It is.
So unless you are saying they went to borrow from a foreign bank, which would be strange, because the currency depreciation, the exchange rate doesn't make sense. Like, number one, the road is not even a tolled road. So would it make sense for you to go and borrow? So if you go and borrow money from a US bank,
Yeah.
you can't pay, because if at the time you borrowed, the money was 10 and it's now 15.
15.
Yeah. So I don't understand why. Look, if somebody has an official explanation, come and explain to us. But this dollar issue doesn't seem to make sense to
Yeah,
me.
that's a good point. So I'll leave it at that. Now, it's a 2-year project that's supposed to have been completed last year in July. So what you're seeing, what you're driving on, should have been completed last year. Now, there are a number of challenges that you remember. One time the newspapers carried the court cases. Some of the residents had sued the contractor because the project was going to impact their property, and also there are a number of court cases, and those cases are running. And then there are compensation issues too. I understand there is supposed to be a footbridge at one particular point, and you know they usually will build this ramp for disability persons with mobility challenges. Now that part encumbers a property where they've provided for compensation, but the resident is unyielding to the compensation. So there's been the main conversation has been the cash flow, the delay of same, which has affected the pace of the project. It's been it's a 70-30, so government pays 70, the contractor is doing 30. That's how the arrangement is like. But if you take away the cash flow and the monetary challenges, then you've had encumbrances with compensation and court cases and all of that. But here's how the project looks like. The length is just like the motorway, is approximately 17 kilometers.
Yeah.
So it begins at Ofankor and ends some 3 kilometers after the Nsawam junction. Put together is a 10-lane project with
5 on each side.
5 on each side.
How many footbridges or how many
Interchanges.
Yeah, how many
Yes,
interchanges?
I know there will be one interchange at Amasaman. It will be a 3-tier interchange at Amasaman. In terms of the number of footbridges and interchanges across, I'll get that for you shortly. But if you put all the, it comes together to about 34 kilometers with service lanes and all. But if you're looking at the length, it's 17 approximately. So now we are told it's 60% complete. That's what we are learning. The worst part of the stretch is the Nsawam Dobro Sapeman portion. That side is not done because and we are told the terrain is not even tough. So once the money comes, it is a place that can be
how
done
much money
rather quickly.
I mean, this is so this annoying.
So, but on the flyovers,
yeah,
there are two. There are two flyovers, and there will be one underpass. So when you get to the Nsawam Junction, you see the feeling you get when you are at Tantra Hill, where those going to Nsawam are using the underpass. You're going straight, and then there's a runabout at the top. That's going to be happening. Yes, at
so there's one major interchange at Amasaman and one at Nsawam.
Yes.
So do you know what percentage of the road is finished?
They say 60%. It's been 60 for a while.
And do we know how much money is needed?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't have answers for that.
You know, I don't understand. I think the road minister needs to do a proper press conference.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I feel. The vetting doesn't help us because a lot of the questions are about people's interests, whether about, please, when you come, will you fix my road or whatever. I think after people get into office for like a month and they understand the real situation they are facing, they need to address the public on what the real issues are. Yeah. So the finance guys have been having a lot of meetings. So they are meeting stakeholders. I think the roads people, I think the which other ministry is even in that same space, energy people, they need to come and tell us what they really have seen in the sector. Because, look, there are so many roads that have been left undone. I went to Tema and I decided to use the beach road. Yeah. Look, there's no street light on the beach road. I'm talking about Tema to Nungwa. I mean, to be fair though, they have they don't even have street markings. But what they have is that on the road median, they have some reflectors. But it's not acceptable to have a 4.6 kilometer beach road with no street markings and no street lights. Look, in any civilized country, somebody should be going to jail for this. Then look, do you know the number of who can die on that road?
Or the street lights are off, because you know sometimes it's one of the two. Sometimes the street lights are there, but they are not working. I just want to clarify which one it is.
I was too angry to check, but there was no street lights. Let me speak to Ahmed Nasir Yati. Ahmed, thanks for joining us. You are one of the P.R.Os who's working overtime because the road ministry is so important and we always bring issues up. So we're about to commend you for the speed of work on the motorway, only to be reminded by people in Nsawam and Sapeman and Amasaman and Midye and Ayikain Doblo that road project, which started so beautifully, has just stalled. And Caleb is speculating various possible reasons. He's talking about dollar, whatever. I don't know if I don't understand what he's saying. So I've decided to call you to explain. What is the state of the Nsawam of Fankor Road and why has the work stopped?
Thank you very much, Bernard. And I should say good morning to your listeners. And also thank you for the opportunity. Well, I should put on record that road has not stalled. As I speak to you, the project is about close to 72% complete. The major challenge on that road has to do with court issues. Somewhere last year, we had over 100 court cases that has to do with project-affected persons. We've managed to clear about 20 of them. As I speak to you, especially between Amasaman to Nsawam, there are a lot of court cases, about 80 of them. And these court cases does not allow the contractor to have the right of way to work. And we cannot take the laws into our own hands. If you need to demolish a particular property and the owner is litigating it in court, there's little you can do. So basically what is happening is that you need the right of way to relocate utilities, that is electricity, water, and telecom lines off the road, so that the contractor can have the right of way to work. Without that, it becomes very difficult. So most of the places that the contractor has the right of way, the contractor has worked, especially from Ofankor coming towards Pokwase, towards Amasama. You see that the contractor has done extensive work. I give you a typical example, like you see the contractor is constructing overhead bridge around where you have the blue skies. He has done half of the work. He's unable to continue because the other half is going into a property that has to be demolished and is under litigation, and there's nothing that the contractor can do. The contractor is ready to pay compensation. The people are mitigating the fact that their properties have to be broken or demolished, and until we settle that, there's little we can do.
So this particular thing you are talking about at the Blue Skies, is it an overpass?
It's I'm referring to the pedestrian walkway.
The pedestrian walkway. Good.
Yes.
But if the pedestrian walkway cannot be done, does that mean the road? Because the complaint I'm getting is from people who drive on the road, that if the road project has stalled. So are you saying that until that pedestrian walkway is done, the road cannot continue?
No, I'm just giving you an example of a work that the contractor have to hold on, because the other end of the road where the walkway will have to land, there is a mitigation on the side of the road. Bernard, you see, when you are constructing the road, because we are widening the road, if you don't remove the utilities and all those things from the right of way, you cannot work. And so when they are mitigated, because you need to break the houses, move the utilities to where the houses are or the properties are to be able to work. And so without those things, so we'll appeal. Really, I want to appeal to the property owners. I mean, we are ready to pay compensation. I mean, this prolonged litigation in court, although it's their right to litigate, but they should know that this is
so
for all of them.
Without going into the merits of the case, how many cases are in court in relation to this road, and are these cases all around the same area, or is scattered throughout the road?
Well, it was scattered throughout the project, but as I speak to you, the ones around Pokwase, around Ofankor, getting towards Pokwase, and somewhere around before Amasamai, most of them we've dealt with them. Initially, we had over 100 cases, but as I speak to you, we currently have around 80 cases still pending in court, mostly in the Insawam district court and the Amasamai court. And these has to do with properties around Amasamai to Insawam. And that's why the work from Amasamai towards Insawam has slowed down, because most of the areas where we need to work, we have litigation, and it's affecting the progress of work.
Is this a class action? Is this a group action, or these are individual cases that are being treated one by one?
They are mostly individual cases.
Wow. All right.
And so it's very difficult for our lawyers. Almost every day we are in court trying to have amicable settlements so that the contract, because as Caleb Koda was saying, once the project delays, and it's of no fault of the contractor, because we are to give the contractor the right of way, that is the employee. He's supposed to give the contractor the right of way. And so
we understand that. I want to understand the portion. So are you saying that driving towards Insawam, the Amasaman to Insawam portion, which is the right side, is where the litigation is, or it's on both sides, both going and coming?
I need to clarify that. But what my brief indicates that from Amasamai, most of the cases now we have pending has to do from Amasamai to Insawam. And that is why if you go to Amasama where the contractor has its campsite, you see that there are a lot of equipment there ready to deploy, but he's not deploying them. So it's not true that the contractor has taken all the equipment from that site.
Okay. So if this is true, can you confirm that the unencumbered portions of the road are done? So, for example, you are from Ofanko getting towards Pokwasi. I went there only this Thursday for a program at Fountain Gate Church on the hill. I can't say for sure that even that road is finished, right? So when you are joining from Ofanko towards Pokwasi, there are portions that are done, but the work is still going on. It's not finished, right? So if the court cases are delaying some parts of the project, you would expect that the other unencumbered parts will be finished and done with. But even that's not the case.
Yes, so as if you drive from Ofanko getting to Pokwasi, you see that the contractor has even laid the first course of the asphalt. It's left with the wiring course for him to do and small furniture that he has to put in place. But fairly, that road is motorable. It has been done.
No, but no, Ahmed, no, it's not a motorability. There's a whole right lane that you do for those who are from Ofanko towards the Pokwasi interchange, so that if they are bearing right, they don't have to join the main road. That's not done. Even the descent from the Ofanko into the Pokwasi road, it hasn't been tidied up. No road markings have yet been done. The road furniture has not been supplied. A project that was supposed to finish in July. No. If by I'm coming, let me just ask the question. So what I'm saying is that there seems to be places on the road which are not progressing, irrespective of the whole litigation matter.
Yes, Bernard, I agree with you, and that's why when our minister met the contractor, he encouraged the contractor to try to complete those sections that he can complete, because the contractor has a work schedule where he was looking at doing the entire work, then comes back and then do the asphalt, lay the asphalt, then put the road furniture and complete the work. But then when the minister met with the contractor, he encouraged the contractor that, well, if you are having litigation on this part, the part that you have the right of way, although you have your schedule, can you alter your schedule and make sure that you totally complete the part that you can complete as we see to the court cases? So just last week, the minister encouraged the contractor to do exactly that, and we are hoping that he will work with speed to complete that portion of.
Can you confirm the name of the contractor for this project?
Well, the name of the contractor is Maripoma Enterprise Limited. It's one of our indigenous Ghanaian company.
All right.
And the same contractor working on the motorway.
Fantastic. Now, is this project a GOG project?
This project is not a GOG project. It's a loan facility that we are using to construct this road.
So, listeners, GOG means Government of Ghana. So, the loan facility from where?
The details I don't have immediately because I didn't know that you
no problem. Now, so it's not a Government of Ghana project, but it's a loan facility.
No. Yes.
Now, do you know the contract sum?
I cannot give it was about around. No, I cannot give the details now. I have to check.
Okay, you can get back to me on that. It's important because there's a strong belief among listeners that the project has stalled because of funding challenges, financing, and that we are only using the court cases as a ruse, that there's a money problem.
Not at all.
Okay, do you know? Okay, so hold on. If it's not you don't know the contract sum and you don't know the name of the financing institution, so how then can you say that?
I have to cross check, Bernard, because as I didn't know this question will come up. I don't have that brief with me now. I think we've discussed that in some earlier.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, no problem. The information I have is that it's an Exim Bank facility with 350 million, 350 million as the contract sum. $350 million as the contract sum or at least the loan amount from Exim
Yes.
Bank. Now, can you confirm if the contractor is getting this money to do the work?
Well, this project, in Bernard, you know that this project wasn't affected by the debt testing. Even when other projects stalled under the debt testing program, this project continued. And so it cannot be because of funding issues. You understand? It cannot be because...
So is this a litigation? No problem.
The litigation is the biggest challenge we have on that road.
Finally, some people complain that there is an inverse relationship between the pace of work on the Tema motorway and on the Nsawam road. In fact, when last 2 weeks I was praising the contractor for the speed of work on Tema, the Pokwasi people say, oh, they have moved equipment from Pokwasi to Tema, and that's why the Tema road is going fast and Pokwasi is slow. So I just want you to confirm this, that are they using the same plant pool? Because the Tema work seems to be progressing very, very seriously.
This is a contractor that is capable of mobilizing equipment for projects such as this, 10 different projects such as this. And as I speak to you, if you go to his station at you can send your cameras there. You'll see a lot of equipment there ready to move, and because of this mitigation. And that's why I want to use your medium to appeal to citizens living on those corridors. Yes, it's their right to mitigate, to fight for their properties, but this is in all of us our interest, and so they should help us to have amicable solution to these litigations or these court cases, so that the project can move on. We know that most people driving in that corridor, they are suffering. The contractor keep trying to maintain the road by trying to grade the road from time to time, but that is not the main solution. The main solution is for the contractor to have the right of way to work. As I speak to you, I was saying earlier that if we are not able to fast track and complete some of these cases for the contractor to work, the contractor has the right to charge us as government for extra charges for being there and not working. And that will go against...
Yeah, but whose fault will it be? Didn't they factor the potential litigation into their project planning, right? Is that... I mean, I'm not a road contractor, I don't understand these things, but if you are accepting a contract to do a 10-lane road in a busy part of town, you would know that you have to deal with property owners, and you know that some could end up in court. So if you're not able to dispense, if the court is delaying or you're not able to deal with the matters, I don't think that the government should be the one to pay for the extra.
But Bernard, that is not for the contractor, it's for the employer to give the contractor the right of way. The litigation of the case is not the responsibility of the contractor. I repeat, it's the government's responsibility. And so for the contractor, you have to give the contractor the right of way to work.
Okay.
So long as he doesn't have the right of way, he cannot work. And so it's government's responsibility to ensure that the contractor have access to work.
All right.
Let
me bring another question. A listener says that there are town roads for Pokwasi as part of the project. If you can confirm this, can you confirm that the project includes town roads in some adjoining communities?
I cannot confirm that, but what I know is that the Department of Urban Roads is looking at improving the town roads within Amasamai and the adjoining communities.
All right, okay. Please confirm, because this listener is saying that from the Pokwasi main junction through area council to Pokwasi library, the roads that the contractor did as part of the town roads is absolutely horrible. So he's criticizing the quality of the town roads, which he believes are part of the project. So you have to confirm for us if this project includes any town roads, and if indeed the Pokwasi...
Sure. You know, sometimes, Bernard, not to cut you, at times when construction is going on, contractors will do diversions and all that. They may not be necessarily part of the project, but just to ease or allow for people to move. But I have to get update on it and to be sure whether it is part of the project, but I know that it's not part of the project. The project is just to construct the main road.
All right.
And Department of Urban Roads will look at the adjoining communities' internal roads.
Well, since there's a new minister, we don't want to preempt, but it will be important to know what the minister is doing about the litigation which is affecting this very, very important road. It's our main corridor outside Accra to Kumasi. But let me park that. The same contractors working on the motorway road, and they seem to be working very hard day and night. And I was pleasantly surprised to see that. What deadline are they working with? And why can't government attach the same agency to other roads? Why is it that and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, it's a good thing they are working hard on the Tema motorway road. Why can't other roads get the same level of seriousness that Tema motorway is getting?
Bernard, I'm sure all other road projects, if you go to the Kaswa Uniba Road, it's going on pretty well. If you go to the Adenta Dodowa Road project, Oswald is working very hard over there. I can say that most of the road projects, I mean, the same zeal is going on. And I should put on record that most of these contractors working on these roads are indigenous Ghanaian contractors. In fact, when the minister met with some of these contractors, he was amazed at the level of patriotism that these contractors are working, because government owe them so much, we are indebted to them so much, yet every day they are on the road working. And so you cannot believe the level. So I not to sound some way, but the kind of debt that we owe some of these indigenous Ghanaian contractors, if they were foreign contractors, like the fact of, I can say for sure, like if Maripoma was a foreign contractor, like by now he's packed off. If Oswald was a foreign contractor, like by now he's packed off. The contractor on the Accra, on the Kaswa Winiba Road, if he was a foreign contractor, like by now he's packed off. And so we are happy as a ministry that we've built a capacity of local indigenous Ghanaian contractors who understand the financial situation of the country. And even though we owe them, they still show up every day and they are working. And so we should rather encourage them to do more, because Bernard, you and I know that in this industry, our biggest challenge is financing. And so, I mean, these contractors are doing so well. Where they go wrong, we have to call them out and get them to do the right thing. But as I speak to you now, these indigenous Ghanaian contractors, First Sky and Co., they are doing extremely well for this country.
Well, we will have to leave it here for sake of time, but trust me, I'll get back to you this week, because there's a lot of concerns about other routes. Just finally, though, one listener is asking me to ask you why the contractor cannot at least make the road, grade the road so they can move smoothly and save them from vehicle damage and health issues. So whilst all this litigation is going on, the rough portions of the road, can the contractor not do anything about it at all? Or all those rough portions are all under litigation?
Bernard, that's a fair point, and that's what we encourage the contractor to always do. And so from time to time, they do that, but rapidly it deteriorates and they have to go in again. And so that is what is happening. But it's a fair point, and the minister has encouraged the contractor to always make sure that the road is motorable. And so we'll go back and talk to them to do exactly that. So it's a fair point. We take it on board.
Good morning. Thank you, Ahmed, and thank you for your time. Ahmed Nasir Yate is the P.R.O of the Ministry of Roads. We hadn't told him we would call him, so we basically just called him, and therefore he didn't have some of the information we wanted. But his main point is that there are about 80 court cases which have delayed. We put it to him that it was financing, but he says he cannot confirm this. We understand the road is $350 million. Exim Bank facility. Maripoma is a contractor who seems to be doing very, very well on the motorway road, but this is a bit slower.
So Bernard, on the portions that does not have litigation issues as they were completed, that's the thing I wanted to know.
That's what I couldn't get. He didn't agree. He couldn't. I mean, we know. This is not a subject of a question. This is a subject of observation.
Exactly.
I went to a place around the Ofanko site, and part of that road is not even finished.
So
Let's take a break. Let's do second social media trends. Who's the sponsor?
yes, Telecel and First Bank Ghana are the sponsors. Telecel says if you switch to our fixed broadband today, you will experience incredible bonuses, non-expiry bundles, data transfers across devices, and lots more. If you're a new